What's up, good people? This is Tamara Chapman, and you are listening to Daily Affirmations for the Big Girl in All of Us, the Morning After podcast. This is the space where we unpack what's still lingering after the broadcast because healing, growth, and clarity don't always happen on cue. Today's episode is all about turbulence, the kind that shows up mid-flight and midlife. It's about the unexpected shakeups that leave us clutching the armrest literally and emotionally, and how we keep flying anyway. Let me tell you what happened to me a few years ago. I was flying back to the United States after a trip to Asia. It had been a long journey, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I was already tired, already anxious, already longing for home. We were just off the coast of Washington State when the captain came on the speaker with those familiar words. Ladies and gentlemen, we're expecting a bit of turbulence. At first it was fine, a few bumps, nothing major. But then, a drop. A real one. My heart was in my throat. The plane was shaking. I was gripping the armrests like they were the last threads of my sanity, and somewhere in the middle of that chaos, I had a moment. That's when I realized this is life. We prepare, we buckle up, we board. But turbulence doesn't always warn us. Sometimes it just hits, and whether you're 30, 50, or 75, whether it's divorce, diagnosis, job loss, grief, menopause, or midlife, we all have moments where we drop, shake, and hold on for dear life. So I asked the ladies, my DAFT Big Girl Cohorts, if they'd ever experienced any turbulence of their own.
I have experienced turbulence, but it really does not bother me to the fact where I'm nervous, because I always pray before I get on a plane, which most people probably do, but I always say, Lord, if this plane is meant to go down, don't even let it go up with me on it. Don't even let it go up with me on it. And because I'm your daughter and because I'm your righteous, I believe that I'm going to get to my destination. So regardless, if that plane is going to go up, it's going to land how it's supposed to land, right? So even in the midst of the turbulence, I'm just a faith believer. I have my faith in God that I'm going to get to my destination. So I'm not bothered with the turbulence up and down. I have had some turbulence, like shaking and the bumps and, things of that nature, but I'm more at peace. I'm not frightened. I'm not anxious. I'm not nervous in that prospect of that.
Tell you what, if a plane drops and then you feel the bumps, I do get nervous. I don't question my faith, but I do get nervous at times. So.
When we were on that plane coming back from Japan, we were good until we got off the coast of, it was like Washington State. And and I kept trying to tell myself, okay, if you're in a bus and you're riding down the road and stuff, of course you're going to run over, potholes and, different things that might be in the road and stuff. It'll shake. Right?
Right.
So I'm trying to tell myself that. And I was good until the plane literally dropped. It dropped and people screamed.
Coming.
Yeah.
You can see those potholes coming. When you're in the air, you have no control.
You don't have, you can't see it.
Yeah, I have to agree with that because I definitely was on that flight back from Japan.
Yeah, it was her birthday that we were going to Japan.
And going was great. I had no problem. It was the return flight home. I got sick on the plane and I'm like, oh my goodness, I really need to lay down somewhere. But one of the times where we had to change flights, well, both Tammy and I took Dramamine, and then the flight was delayed. It did not work out so well.
According to the FAA, there are more than 65,000 flights every day in the United States, and turbulence accounts for the majority of serious injuries to flight attendants and passengers. But in life, turbulence can look like a sudden health scare, loss of a loved one, divorce or breakups, financial crisis, midlife career shifts. And the truth is, the older we get, the less predictable the skies. Before we dive into our discussion, let's take a moment for something that's been adding calm to my chaos. Scentsy. Whether you're riding through life's turbulence or just looking for a soft reset, there's nothing like the right fragrance to help you ground and glow. Stay tuned because this message is worth a listen. What's up, good people? This is Tamara with Daily Affirmations for the Big Girl and All of Us, coming to you with a very serious question in mind. I Scentsy. Do you? Listen, my quest for good health and wellness doesn't stop at the food I eat or the reps I do. Thanks to my good friend Machon, I have even introduced all natural, healthy smell goods to my environment as well. If you like candles and air fresheners as much as I do, please do yourself a favor and get your own Scentsy fragrances today. Scentsy has a wide variety of products to choose from. If you like the wax warmers that have become popular over the past few years, you can purchase one of those. If you'd prefer the diffusers and oils or AirPods, they've got those too. And unlike many similar products that advertise that they last a month or more, these actually do. I've had a diffuser in my guest bathroom for the past month or so, and there's still about a quarter's worth of oil left. And not only that, the Scentsy products are not just practical, but they are aesthetically pleasing as well. For those of you who may be driving or away from your computer, the site is machonbanks.scentsy.us, and I'll spell that for you. It's MACHON B as in boy ANKS dot S as in Sam CENT S as in Sam Y.US. Please pick up your own. You will not be disappointed. Joining me today in the studio are my DAFT Big Girl Cohorts, Machon Banks, Marilyn Fisher, and Dr. Lori Bowles. These DAFT Big Girls know what it means to navigate storms and still move with purpose. So, ladies, let's get into the discussion. For the past 2 years, I've been trying to get season 2 underway, and I think that you all have kind of been there through that whole process. But I just want to take a few minutes to recognize each one of you. And if you all could, for the purposes of this podcast and for the benefit of those who may not know you, just give us a really brief introduction of who you guys are and just kind of tell us what you've been up to for the last 2 years.
I'm Machon Banks. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I am a certified personal trainer. Track and field is a passion of mine. Training, fitness is a passion of mine. So I'm all about things of fitness. And for the last 2 years, Tammy, believe it or not, so I've been a part of a gym that I usually go to with girlfriends. And all of a sudden, the gym actually changed management. So it went under different construction, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't the same. So I ended up with some turbulence in my life. I was an avid workout person, at least 4 to 5 days a week, and it ended up going from 4 to 5 days to 2 to 3 days. So needless to say, my eating kind of got off track because I wasn't as consistent as I was before. Mm-hmm. And within the last 2 years, I have gained probably 10 pounds extra. Mm-hmm. And even though 10 pounds may not seem a lot, but for a person that's very active, I can feel the 10 pounds when I'm walking up my steps. I can feel the 10 pounds when I'm trying to run on a treadmill, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess the middle of 2024, I just took a step back, did a perspective over my life, and started implementing the change that I wanted to see daily in my food, what I eat, how I work out, being disciplined and being consistent. So as of now, I am back on track. I have lost the 10 pounds, and I'm continuing to grow into the fitness.
Miss Lori.
Well, I'm Lori Bowles. I'm born and bred and raised in High Point, North Carolina, and I currently live in Atlanta. But I work in the school system. There's always turbulence in the school system that impacts my overall wellness if I'm not careful. In the last 2 years, I was on this weight loss journey. I was focused. I started this program called E2M, Eager to Motivate. It was helpful for me because they've talked about progress over perfection. And as a perfectionist, I want things right. And I'm like, oh gosh, I fell off the wagon. I was just scrap the whole workout plan. But with them, it was more, no, get back on track the next day. So that was helpful for me. But then they've kind of dissolved. But that program helped me realize to, number one, be in competition with myself. My weight loss journey, my wellness journey is my own journey. And that was important for me to hear that. I didn't always believe that. I have been accused of doing things for so many people, like, I'm losing weight for somebody I'm dating or whatever, but this time it was for me. In the last 2 years, I turned 50. And if people don't tell you your body changes when you hit 50, they're telling you a story. And so in the last year, as they would say, I've got my eyes back on the prize. It's for me now. I don't make New Year's resolutions because I feel like people don't keep them and it's overwhelming. So I start in December just making small changes. That way I don't feel the pressure of having to beat myself if I don't do something well. So I just make small changes, getting back on track, and just doing it for me now. I want to be healthy. I want to be around. I want to give my best self to my family, my job, my students, and my friends. That's kind of where I am right now.
That's awesome. Machon, as a licensed trainer, do you recommend that we try to make these lofty goals at the beginning of the year? Do you find that works better for people?
First thing, Lori, I wanted to comment on when you say you're doing it for you, yourself, not for other people, not pleasing, people pleasing, right? That's very, very important, because once you love yourself enough and say, hey, I want to fight, I want to do this for me, everything else goes out the window, right? Because you want to do this for you.
It changed my mentality.
Exactly.
It changed my mentality because I was vested in my own self-worth at that point. It wasn't because if somebody else loses that, people talk about unconditional love. No, people love you with conditions.
Yes.
But I have to love myself regardless of what shape I'm in, because guess what? Any day above ground is a good day.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah. It is. And we amongst the living, right? So we have air in our lungs to breathe and move and have our being. I think it should be small steps. Your goals. Even though you may have a goal within the next 5 years of what you want to do, but hey, let's start with the smaller goals, conquer them, and then move on up. So if a person is just starting to work out or saying, hey, I got a new mindset, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, let's start with the first 3 months. What are we changing? What are we going to stop? What are we going to commit to? What are we going to be disciplined in? Hey, if we conquer the 3 months, okay, let's move from 3 months to 6 months. I think it's all about conquering the small goals. Every goal is celebrated. Whether if you say, I used to drink Coke 5 days a week and I only drunk Coke 2 days a week, hey, let's celebrate that. That's something to celebrate. So we celebrate even the small successes. I think it should be in small settings, because sometimes when you try to go and say, I'm going to lose 80 pounds, 50 pounds or whatever as a big goal, and you don't see yourself progressing how you want to mentally, because we look at the scale and we look at ourselves in the mirror. So and sometimes you can get discouraged and you can fall back, which is, it's okay if you fall back. Just pick yourself back up and start again. Like Lori said, let's start back over. Don't stay there. Let's get back up. Celebrating the small successes is very, very a positive outlook for a person who's going to want to lose weight, whatever the goal is. If they want to get in shape, lose weight, gain weight, be more active, it's whatever their desire is. But I think small goals is best.
I want to piggyback off that. Machon, it's funny that you mentioned 80 and 50 because I wanted to lose about 50 pounds. Now I want to lose about 80 pounds. And I just kept thinking, that's a lofty, I can't reach that goal. And my doctor said, just start at 5 pounds at a time. 5 pounds at a time.
Absolutely.
And then those 5 pounds add up. And then he said, also get off of your scale.
Yeah.
He called them NSVs, non-scale victories. Do your clothes fit differently? Can you walk further? Are you drinking more water? Celebrate those things. Because for me, I want to see the scale move. And what I had to learn also is your numbers are going to fluctuate and it's okay. So I would weigh myself to get used to that. And then I'm like, okay, hide the scale. But non-scale victories have helped me a lot. I've lost about 15 pounds since August. It's
All
taken me a while,
right.
but I'm
That's
proud
awesome,
of myself
Lori.
for keeping it
That's
off.
right, Lori.
That's very
We gonna
good.
15 ain't close to
celebrate.
that 80.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's for me. It's just for me. So
yeah. No, that's good because like you said, I'm over 50 as well. So it is your body changes. It's different. You know,
yes.
when I was 20, when I was 30, so your body changes every 10 years. So at
And
20,
then menopause comes and starts hitting it. Like, wait a minute, where's the
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so you guys are already like delving into some of the questions that I wanted to ask you all. You know, leading up to this new season, I had not yet turned 50. So that was a huge concern for me. So now everyone on this podcast, I'm sorry to put it out there on Front Street, but everybody on this podcast is now over 50, or we're at least 50. So
Yep.
you started talking about some of the changes and some of the things that you all have experienced. Is everybody on this call, have you all entered into menopause yet, or have you not
Yes,
been diagnosed with that yet?
I am actually, Tammy, I am actually postmenopausal. So
Postmenopausal? What in
started-
the world?
yeah,
You made it to
That's
the
a
other
thing.
side.
I made it to the other side. But the thing is, I started really, really early. So I started after I had my son at 37. I started at the age of 38. And my doctors was trying to figure out what in the world is going on. Like, do you want to have more kids, Machon? If not, we need to do it now. And I was like, no, I'm good. I got my boy, I got my girl. I don't, want to have more kids. But they did all kind of blood work, all the things, right? For over 2 years. And I was premenopausal at 38. I guess it's called perimenopausal.
Perimenopause or something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I started at 38. By the time I reached 41, I was in menopause. I was so early, like menopause. So now I'm post-menopause at 50, but I still have symptoms. It doesn't go away, because I say I'm post-menopausal. I still have sometimes hot flash and have night sweats, but it's very, very, very minimal, right? So it's not to the fact where I was at the beginning. It was different. I couldn't sleep. It was a whole lot, but I'm postmenopausal. So I went through all the things that most of my girlfriends are going through now. I went through it at 38, 40, 41.
Sheesh.
That sounds
in that age.
That sounds about right. And again, my name is Marilyn Fisher. So I'm 56. God willing, I'll be 57 next month. But after I had my last child, that's when I noticed changes in my body where I was getting hot flashes and different things like that. Night
How old
sweats.
were you in your last child?
Oh, let's see. I would have been, how old is he now? He's 25. And let's see.
So 31.
They're about 31.
You started going through menopause at 31.
I started feeling changes then. My body changed completely after the last child. And I was like, I knew I didn't want any more children or anything like that. But I started sweating and getting hot and all that kind of stuff. And now that I'm older, I'm probably more on the back end of that. So it's not as bad as it used to be, but my energy level is completely different. Now I'm thinking, my goodness, I used to be able to, like, say the kids go to school and while everybody's at work and whatever, and I happen to be home, I'm cleaning, doing all this. Now I got to be taking breaks in between. I think it took a little bit before I really started, figuring out what was going on. And as I got closer to 40, I struggled to lose my weight. I know, that a lot of us who've had children will hide behind and go, well, it's that baby fat. Well, my baby is 25, so.
I've been trying for the last 2 years to get back to the podcast and stuff because I do see a lot of value in it. And then the crazy thing was when I would go home to North Carolina, I ran into 2 different individuals, and each person was like, hey, you're not doing your podcast anymore? And I was like, well, I'm still doing it, but, different things have happened or whatever. And they were like, oh man, I was really enjoying them. And it was really helping me to, get motivated to get out and move and stuff. I was like, oh, that's so cool. So that's why I felt like, even though, the numbers may not be very high as far as subscribership goes, I felt like it was at least being helpful. So we were just talking about how all of us are over 50 and some of us are able to get that free coffee at Hardee's now, while others of us still have about 5 more years to go. But an important question, though, in all seriousness, does everybody have their AARP card?
I know I do.
This is so funny. I'm looking at the envelope right now, and it says, you have a deadline of January the 9th. Guess I missed that deadline. I'm going to still send it back in, though.
No,
Is
you
it worth
can still
having
do
it?
it. I guess so. I don't know. I've had mine for years now because I was always on somebody else's. But
when you get to, I think when you get to about 55, that's when you really start seeing a few more benefits, because I've had mine for a long time. I remember one time going to the movies and I was able to use it. And then the next time I went to the movies, the guy's like, oh, you're not old enough. I said, so then why'd they give me my AARP card if I'm not old enough?
there you go. But anyway, since we've all officially turned 50, I think we started talking about it a little bit. Machon, you started talking about how things were different for you.
So for me, I was out of balance. Like I could not figure out why I was gaining the weight. And even though I was eating right, because my husband, he does the meals, even though I was working out, I was still gaining weight. Like I was like, something's not right. I was watching what I was eating. So mine came from my hormones were out of whack. So even though I was doing the things I knew to do as a fitness person to work out, that wasn't working. So I can work out all day, not eat anything, and I still would not be able to lose weight because my hormones wasn't in control. They were out of control. So I had to go and get that under control before I could see a difference in my journey. So that was the undertone of the hormones. So once the hormones got under control, then I continued to do the things. But at this point, I was a little discouraged because I had been working out avidly. I've been eating right because I was like, okay, I'm 40 something years old. I need to, and I couldn't lose the weight. So step by step, I stopped eating out. We started cooking more at home. Everything was done at home. Meal prepping came into place so that I can know what foods I was putting into my body. That has been a game changer for me. Meal prepping and what I eat myself instead of me going out to fast food or restaurants of the things of that nature. Once I got everything under control, Tammy, I was back in the swing of things. I was back into getting my groove back, working out, having a partner with working out. Like my husband was my partner, or I will get a girlfriend and we'll work out. So it was consistency, it was discipline for me, and it was more dedication. Like I wanted to lose the weight. I wanted to get back to the old Machon. I wanted to get back into, the way that my body felt good, the way that I looked good, and I felt I had more energy. So it took a while. It was a process. It was me going through the steps, going through my mental, my physical, my spiritual. Everything had to come in alignment in order for me to overcome the hurdles.
So I got sick at the end of 2022, and by then I had already been walking for like 100 days. So I was, on top of the world because it was just like it become so habit forming for me that I would get up every morning, whether it was raining or whatever, and I'd just go out and walk. And I was really excited by that. And I was like, yeah, this time I'm really going to do it. But I got sick and I thought I had COVID because all of a sudden, like all my energy stores they were just non-existent. I had no energy whatsoever. Shortly thereafter, I ended up going to the doctor, and the doctor told me that I was in menopause. So I wonder if the menopause had anything to do with my like level of energy. And I know it's different for everybody. And I wish that, I had a health professional on the podcast with us right now, so maybe they could speak to that. But the night sweats are something that I contend with. The hot flashes are horrible when they happen. Everybody else is freezing. I'm over here sweating bullets. But I think the biggest challenge for me is the fact that I'm telling people I don't feel good, or I don't, I'm trying to do whatever, and then having to endure some of the comments and stuff that are made, and on their face, they seem pretty funny, but having to hear that repeatedly, that you're not doing enough.
Not as funny.
You're not, man, you're fat. You need to get up off some of this weight. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Because you're already hard on yourself. That doesn't help somebody like you.
Right. But
they think they're helping, but they're not.
It's not helpful.
Yeah, and it gets less and less. It has gotten to the point where like sometimes I just kind of like I find myself like distancing myself from things, or when I see that the conversation is going a certain way, I just like shut down. And I know that's not healthy, but
no. In the words of Michael Jackson, you are not alone. I kid you not.
Right. I mean, it makes you feel some kind of way, though. It really does. And
it's harder when your family does it. And I have a sibling, and we all work wrestle with our weight. But things are said to me that may not be shared with my sibling because they're sensitive. Well, I'm sensitive too.
Right. I just don't show it most times, or I try to laugh it off.
We played sports. And so when we were younger, we could drop weight like it was nothing. Like just drink water, go work out, and the weight would just fall off. In 30s and 40s, that is not the case now. So I'm having to change my mentality about how to get this weight off.
So, Machon,
I think... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Machon, when she was talking about her hormone levels and everything, what did you end up having to do in conjunction, with, the way you were eating and things like that?
When I went to a hormone doctor, that's what we found, a hormone doctor who specialized in menopause, who specialized in, women's health. So I went there and they did all my blood work. Everything came back. So as a woman, we're supposed to have some testosterone in our bodies. I know testosterone is for men, but we're supposed to have some. I don't know the number, but it say, for example, it's 2%. I had 0%. Like, that's how much my levels were off. I had no testosterone. My cortisone levels were extremely high. Everything that should be normal for me at 40 was off the charts.
I must have about 10 points of testosterone because my mustache and stuff.
I can't work. You're so
silly.
I mean, it's gotten to the point now. My mustache wants to try and connect with my goatee. This is not cool. This ain't cool.
Look, I have to go along with her on that because my stash is coming in pretty good too. So I don't know. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
sorry. Yeah, but you were saying.
Instead of losing. So you need testosterone to build the muscle. So I was doing all the things and nothing was happening. So once she got my levels right, Marilyn, oh baby, it was game on. Like, because I had no energy. Like literally when I came home from work, I was exhausted like I had ran a marathon. Like literally tired. I couldn't sleep at night because I was up all times of night, sweating. I was hot, then I get cold, then I was hot. So my sleep was off. My eating was off. I just wanted the things that were good to me. Like I wanted I wanted the fries. I wanted the chicken. I wanted the not healthy things, right? I was craving sweets. As soon as I eat something sweet, I mean, this is when she ran my blood, she was telling me, when you eat something sweet, 20 minutes later, you want something salty. Is that correct? And I was like, absolutely. She was like, yep, I see it. I don't know what they saw in my blood, but she was saying that she could see I guess, whatever they see. I don't know. But anyway, you want something sweet. 20 minutes later, I was like, I need something salty right now. Or it could be the opposite. I could eat something salty. I needed something sweet. So it was all the bad things, all this, the things that I was putting in my body. But once I got them levels straight, she gave me some different vitamins and different, things to take.
Mm-hmm.
I within a week, I could tell a difference in my body. I can tell the energy source because things were getting into the right things were getting in my system to make my levels normal. So once I saw that, it was game on. I saw the weight loss. I saw because I was doing all the things I should do. Then my eating changed. I didn't crave all the salty and the sweet things like I was before. Once my levels got right, so I had to fix the levels, the hormone levels, and then that's the key, and that's what helped me.
Oh wow, because I definitely crave the salty salt, and I do it together. So this is a good example. I'll have like goldfish, and I throw peanut M&Ms in there. So I just keep trading off. But I crave it so bad. It's terrible. I was doing good for a little bit, and then I just don't know what happened to me.
I would suggest to Marilyn, just everybody, like when you go to your yearly physical, your yearly like mammogram, however, when you go to your physical, get your levels checked and ask them to test. I know they do the normal levels, but you got to ask to test your testosterone levels, your creatine levels, your creatinine levels. They may be extra, but you have to ask them because they won't
won't do it. Okay.
Right.
It's about advocating for yourself then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just once we recognize, like if you're going through menopause, go to your doctors and ask, can you run my labs? Because I feel that I'm going through menopause. Can I do the lab work, the blood work for menopause? And that's all your hormones. They should be able to run the labs for all your hormones to see if you're going through menopause or if you're at menopause. And then they'll be able to check your levels and see what's up, what's not, what's low, you don't have any, whatever the case may be. So you can correct it at the beginning.
This season, we are going to be bringing on people who are subject matter experts in all these different areas. So among other things, we will have someone who will be talking to us about menopause. While it may not seem like anything that's really important to people who are younger, to our younger audience members, well, it may not seem important right now, but when you get to be this age, if someone told me now that, well, when you were in your 20s, if you had considered doing this, or if you had introduced this into your diet or something like that, then that would have helped offset what you're going through now. That would have been important information for me to know. Did you guys have any final thought that you'd like to leave with our audience?
I don't have a project, but can I just say these conversations are so needed because so often you feel like you're just by yourself. And you're like, is it just me? So to hear that it's not just me is comforting, but it's also like, okay, go get my levels checked. It's like each one teach one. That is so true. And so I just appreciate the conversations in the forum, talking about hair, all that kind of stuff. Those are real conversations to have.
Yes.
So just having a forum that puts it out there in a safe place, it's just I appreciate the platform and the forum. And so just invite me back anytime you want.
And I will end with this and say steady and slow wins the race. So nothing quick and fast or take a blue pill and you lose 20 pounds, right? You have to put in the work. You have to do the work and you have to love yourself enough to say, I'm doing this for me.
I know Machon would never say this of herself, but she is all that and then some. She's probably the only one of us right now that would be ready to go on American Ninja Warrior and score and come out victorious.
I have to keep the score.
It's okay. I'll be on the sidelines cheering you on,
cheering
girl.
you on.
Okay, yeah,
in my mind, I can do these things, but in real life, no, it's not happening. But Machon is. And so, Machon, I wanted you to tell people how they can get in touch with you if they wanted to utilize your services if they're in the Raleigh, North Carolina area.
Sure. You can go to machonbefit.com. Machon Befit is my Instagram. my Instagram handle. And then you can actually go to www. What is my website? Tim, you just got me in the freeze. Oh my goodness. I think it's www.machonbfit.com. That's it. Yeah. machonbfit.com.
Okay.
All right.
I
We're going to
just
go
got
with
to go on
that.
Instagram.
And
I'm about to
Machon is
sign up for you right now.
Machon.
Yeah, Machon.
The letter B.
And B, and then fit, FIT.
One of the things I would like to leave with everyone is that, well, one, I'm really thankful for this podcast because it takes a lot to motivate me. My accountability partner is sitting across from me, and she told me, she goes, "I'm not asking you anymore because every time I always say no." So motivation. It's like I look at myself and I'm like, man, I really want to do something, and I'm like, ooh, not today. I take my hat off to Tammy because she'll say she's not going to ask me anymore, and then she'll ask me, or I'll surprise her.
And you stay on her.
Sometimes you just need that person that just to keep motivating you, and if you have that person, even if you say no today, you might even say no for a whole week, but at some point in time, you're like, I really can't complain anymore because I'm not doing anything. So let's at least start here.
Turbulence is not a sign of failure. It's proof that you are in motion, and you don't have to land perfectly to be powerful. Today's affirmation: even when the skies shift, I remain rooted in who I am. I'm not afraid to fly through change. Take that with you, speak it aloud, breathe through the bumps. All right, ladies, that's it for this episode of Daily Affirmations for the Big Girl in All of Us the morning after. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who needs a little peace in their process. Don't forget to watch the DAFT web series. Check out the weekly vlog and join me for a Mile in My Shoes TikTok live walks. And yes, my shameless plug, subscribe to the podcast and our YouTube channel. We're on a mission to hit 100,000 subscribers by or before the end of the year. I want to take a moment to thank my DAFT Big Girl Cohorts, Machon Banks, Marilyn Fisher, and Dr. Lori Bowles. Thank you for stopping by to share your stories, your strength, and your words of encouragement with us. These conversations matter because we matter. And finally, I'd like to thank you, the listener, without whom I would be hard-pressed to do what I'm doing, and none of this makes any sense. You can catch the podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, so wherever you are, we're just a play button away. And until next time, stay grounded, stay kind, and keep flying. Today's episode was brought to you in part by Machon Fit, RCW Multimedia Tech, Areas, and Designs by 510s. Contact us if you would like to be a part of the discussion. Please send your questions by email to info@bposproductions.com or to any of the DAFT BGIAOU social media platforms using the hashtag DAFT Discussions. Daily Affirmations for the Big Girl in All of Us the Morning After is a production of Be Positive Productions and Multimedia Studios.